So today is day 4 of the Every Bit Counts challenge, hosted by Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead. If you haven't ever checked out her channel, you should. It's a fantastic channel for all things homesteading. She has great ideas about preservation for food and all kinds of things. But these are hot wax peppers that I'm picking out of the garden, and I'm going to go over and grab some dill from another area in the garden, and I'm going to take those in the house. And I already have some cucumbers in there that I'm going to be making some fermented pickles with. They are larger than what I like for a whole pickle, so I'm going to be chopping them into quarters, into spears. But what I'm doing, and I made sure and washed everything really well, and then what I'm doing here is just chopping the peppers into chunks because they fit into the bottom of the jar much more easily that way for me. I prefer them like that anyway for putting on salads or whatever. And so that's what I'm doing here, just chopping those hot wax peppers. And they have a really nice heat. They're not super hot, but they definitely, you know, they're a hot pepper, so they have a nice flavor and texture for this. So I'll be doing that. I'm doing that, and then for the cucumbers, since they are, I picked them recently, but they've been in the refrigerator. I did nothing with them until today. But what I'm doing here is taking the blossom end off of the cucumber. You don't want to leave that on there because it can make your pickles mushy. So just slice the very end of that off. And as you can see, a couple of these cucumbers got stuck in the fence. They got away from me. They were hiding, and they were actually growing into the netting that I grow them on. So I had to break them off to get them out of there. But that's fine. It doesn't hurt anything. And here I am just making spears out of these cucumbers so that they will fit into these jars better, because the big fat pickles it's much harder to get that many into a jar if they're not sliced like this or into rings or something like that. And as far as the spices go, I am, as I said, I'm using the dill. A couple of fronds are going to go into each jar. And then I've also got bay leaf, which I really enjoy the taste of, but it also helps keep your pickles crisp. A couple of those will go into each jar. And then I have black peppercorn that I really enjoy the flavor of, so that will go in as well. And then I'm just going to be sticking all of those pepper bits into the bottom of the jars. They make a nice little landing spot for those pickles to ferment into. The cucumbers just fit nicely in among the peppers. And I'm going to pack these cucumbers in as tightly as I possibly can. I want them to be, the jars to be extremely full, and you also want, at the same time, to not have anything sticking up above the brine once you pour it in there. So it's pretty important because you don't want mold. If anything is exposed to air, you have a better chance of it getting moldy. So here I am cutting some of the tip off of a couple of these spears because they were a little bit too long. But that's okay because they can go right back in the jar and ferment along with everything else. It doesn't hurt anything. You just want to make sure that they're all submerged below that brine. And the brine I made has 1 quart of water to 3 tablespoons of salt. And you should make sure that your salt is not iodized. It doesn't do well with lacto fermentation to use iodized salt, but you can use kosher salt, pickling salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salt, but just try to make sure it's a natural salt, that's all. And then you just pour it right over the top. And this is really the entire procedure. It's pretty much it. And then you will put your lids on. And I like to use pickling lids so that they self-burp. That way I don't have to worry about loosening the ring and making sure that they don't get too much pressure built up in there. It just makes it a lot easier. And then I just go ahead and label it and stick it in a dark, cool place. and let it go for, I can let mine sit for weeks, but you can check it after a few days and see if you like the taste, or let it keep going, and it'll get cloudy, and that's okay. But that's it.